So to begin with, this is our book project, and we're gonna talk about a game that is called Tic Tae Toe. Um, we have three members. That is me, Rich, and Manun. And move on to um, the game instead. So have you heard about Tic Tae Toe? What is Tic Tae Toe? Basically, Tic Tae Toe is a game that played on three in row boards can be traced back to ancient Egypt, where game boards have been found on the roofing tiles dating from around 13th centuries. And the early variation of tic tac toe was played in Roman Empire around the first century. And compared to our modern game, we create um, by on computer, and in this Java code, we're gonna create a game that tic tac toe that is called tic tac toe. And the feature we have multiplayer, um, GUI support, and detect winner. Also, restart button. Okay, move on to the rules of game, and I will leave it to Manu.
So the goal of the game is for players to position their marks so that they make a continuous line of three cells, either like vertically or horizontally, diagonally, or diagonally. An opponent can prevent a win by blocking the completion like of their opposition. And yeah, you try to get three. Next.
Right. How to play the game? Yes.
Next. So our version of tic-tac-toe is not playing against bot or anything. We only support a um two player game. It's like they playing to get against each other. One is X and the other is O, and yeah, and sometimes O go first and sometimes X go first using like up because we use like a random function. These are a bit of like the brief explanation of our code and what we did, especially with the GUI, the GUI. So like these are the three important libraries that we use: the Java AWT, AWT, Java X Swing, Frame JFrame, and Swing J Option Panel. So first we use the Java AWT color to allow us to create a new colors using Java code using like the R RGB red green blue and RGA red green blue alpha and or HSB like the whose saturation brie component package and stuff. And look at the example. We can see here the first box. Well, the top this box, adding like we added colors and stuff using the RGB 24 bits color, which is the 255, and also like we also like add fonts and by adding the name. We also the font by adding the name, style, and sizes. The next is Java JFrame. Java Swing JFrame is a container that provides a window on the screen, a frame that is actually a base window on which other components rely, and namely the menu bar, panels, labels, text fields, button, etc. As you can see on the right bottom side, we used this library, like imported library for the Java Swing for like making buttons and panels. These are the code sample. I just like took a bit of it. And next, the last one is Java X.Swing J option pan, which is enable a program to prompt the user with a window-based input dialog box and return any user input as a string. As you can see, it's basically tying the code and the GUI together. As you can see, like we use that for detecting like conditions, tying all the conditions of X and O winning or losing using the if else statements to the GUI. Yeah. You see like from here, B1X, if it's like diagonally X like this, yeah, 9 from 1, 5, 9, then X win, for example. And this is like O winning the this is just like a section sample, which will go into further into that.
Continue now.
All right. So so this is our code. So before going deep down into the GUI part, we gonna explain about some of the code that we have implemented inside uh, our NetBeans. We're using NetBeans because it is easy to implement a GUI. So let's go briefly about it. So at first, we want to recognize the author, DJ Omen, and beside the reference from his YouTube channel. And after that, we want to import the library that we have, like Java Colors, Java JFrame, and Java Option Panel. Like Manon said, in order to use some element inside, we must include some library. And then we have a public class with a Java JFrame in order to create a form that we can see. And this is some data member like start game, X count, all counts, and checker. Then we also have a function game score to count the X count and to count the O count by setting the text. And moving to the next function is choose a player. So it decides if you want to choose O or choose X. Then we also have another function to check winning game. So we set each button into the text and we check condition if uh, they got 3X or 3O in a row or columns. So if they meet the condition, it will display as player X or player O win and display the color as well. And by then it increases the score and display on the GUI. So there is some example. So for all is also the same. So this one is for the exit program. So this private exit. So if you want to exit, you just using uh, the frame, new JFrame. Then when you click that button, it will display if you want to confirm to exit or not. So if you click confirm, it will exit the GUI. And this and moving to next is the reset button. So reset is different from the exit. So reset, we only clear the 9 button to be none. And for the new game button is we want to clear everything, including the 9 button to null and clear the score on the screen as well into 0. And there is some action of each button to check is valid or not. So if you click on the button 1, for example, it will display as X or O. So it want to check if it's true or not. This is some example of until button 9. Yeah, it's the same one. And moving to the last one is the main program. So the main program is we want to execute the run and set it to be true. Then for the last one is the variable declaration. So in order to use the button or label or a panel, we must include it and rename it in order to be used. So you all understand about the code. So let's move to the design GUI. So once we click run it, all at first we have Java Tic Tae Toe game, and we have the 9 button as white background, and we have player X and O, and it's set to be 0 because we not yet um, play it, and we have also the 3 button as new game, reset, and exit. So let's play a game all together. So imagine as me as a player. So I want to play as X. Then another person will choose O. I will choose X again. Another person will choose O. And lastly, I choose X. So once I win, the display loading confirming that player X is win. So once we hit enter, it will display as the background color as we win, and the score is increased as 1. So if you want to play next, you can reset. It will clear the 9 button, but not the score. So if you want to play as the O, okay. So it will load the same message as player O win, and the O increase. So if you want to clear everything, including the button and the player X and O game point, so you can click new game. It will reset everything. Our code demo. So if you want to exit, it will confirm if you want to exit. And if you click yes, it will exit the program.
So let's move on to further step of our game. We're gonna talk about future development um, by adding new features and also fixing errors in order to develop the game. Uh, the first feature that we are gonna, gonna add is a draw game, which our code doesn't print out the draw when two player um, when it, it will not print draw condition because we haven't added, and because of our project is time limited, so we just do it just win or lose mode instead. And as well as fixing bugs, we still have bugs to fix. It's not yet a really perfect code, and we will continue to improve again and again. Also, another feature is bot option. That means we can play with bot if um, other than two players playing at the same time. By we adding function, let the computer to decide where to place the piece by using random methods. Okay, move on. Next, no, next slide. Okay, um, let's come to an end of our presentation. Here's the conclusion after we uh, talk about tic tac toe, what is the game, and all of the rules, how to play it. Also, the code that Rich and Manuel has been explained for, earlier. We would like to say that our code is pretty interesting. That might help to create like a game, a software game that to make young kids to play online. And I think that's all for our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop recording. recording yet?
Wait.
Yes, counting.